What's up? How's it going? Welcome to my channel. This is Fabi Reacts. My name is Fabian, but you can call me Fabi. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So, as you can see, I'm ready for Young Royals Season 3. I recently started this channel, so I don't have my reactions to Season 1 and 2. And I thought it would be a good idea to give you my thoughts, what I think of the previous seasons, my opinions on the characters, and on the show in general. So what I think of Young Royals, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's an amazing show. It does really good at representation. It represents young people how they truly are. When I compare it to other shows that do show us teenagers like Riverdale, like Elite, I think they are shows that sometimes it can go either too cringe or they go over dramatic, over sexualized characters that I don't think paint a true picture of what a teenager is actually like and when they go through puberty. But I think this show is more genuine when it comes to that. And I think talking about representation, when you picture a Swedish person, I feel like you might think of a white person, blue eyes, blonde. But then when you see some of these characters, they don't fit that stereotype. And I think that's beautiful because we are so diverse in Western society, in Europe especially. So you're not gonna find this stereotype anymore. There's a lot of different cultures, a lot of different languages that are in every country really. So yeah, and I also like the cast. I think it's an amazing cast. I like the script. I like the cinematography. I like the direction. I think all of it works together to give us these performances that are very true, they're very genuine, they're very raw. They focus a lot on emotion. And I love that. I'm a person who I think I'm very empathetic. So when I see these characters play genuine people that I feel like I know them, that's when I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. And then talking about the characters, I think what the show has done really well is show us these characters that when you tell a simple story, there's usually the good guys, then there's the bad guys. And I think when a story goes a little bit further, it goes beyond that, it starts creating characters that have dimension and depth. And that's what Young Royals have done, I think. You have like these good guys, you have Simon, you have Wilhelm, that they're good, they're very kind, but they also have done bad stuff. And you understand that this is a reflection of like how we all are. And depending on who you see or who you compare it to, some of them might say like, oh, this is a bad guy, this is a good guy. But then the show gives us glimpses of different aspects of them. And I think that is very, I think it gives us raw parts of them that in other places we don't usually see. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm rambling or if I'm making sense, but that's what I think. So let me go a little bit through the characters. So Simon, obviously, it's my favorite character. I think I'm a bit biased when it comes to Simon because I think I relate the most to him, especially to his background. I am Latina, so when I see these scenes in his house, when he's talking to his mom, when speaking in Spanish, I think it brings a lot of memories with my family, my mom. So it's nice to see that representation. I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, these people are trying to be woke now. They're trying to just please the crowd because it's popular. But I think it's just so nice when you can see a character and you're like, oh wow, that character speaks to me. It's sort of telling a little bit of my story as well. So yeah, I think that's why I love Simon so much. Also, I think he's a very well-written character. And obviously he's the main character, he's the protagonist. So when they write these characters, they write them in a way that they're meant to be loved. You're meant to like them. And obviously they did a good job because I love him. I also like that they didn't go the the usual route with this show, and they wrote a character like Simon that he knows who he is. He's already come out a long time ago. He knows he's gay, and he's unapologetic about it. And I think that is beautiful because we've come a long way from like being judged by who we are as gays. And yeah, I think the show is doing a really good job at just saying like, you know what, it's not a big deal anymore. And it isn't, even though in some places it still is. And I hate it, but that's another topic for another day. Then we have Wilhelm. I think Wilhelm, he doesn't follow that. Obviously, he follows a little bit of like that coming out story that we've seen. But I think what's different about him is that he's part of the royal family. He's a prince. And I think that is very different because we haven't initially seen, when you picture the royal family, you picture what you see, what the media shows you, what we've seen in scandals maybe. But like, truly, we don't know who these people are. They have like private lives. And the show does really well at showing us this teenager who is a prince. But at the end of the day, he is just a regular person. If you look at him, obviously he has a big burden, which is the crown. He's gonna be the king one day. And you know what? Being a teenager is already hard enough as it is. And I think having that pressure from everybody around you, that you have to be the prince, you have to look a certain way, you have to act a certain way, that makes the situation even worse. And I feel really bad for this character because not only he has all of that burden, and then being a teenager is hard as it is, and then he's also gay. He's coming to terms with his sexuality, and then August did that and sort of outed him. And I think that is a horrible thing. It's not just that he outed him, but it's just that he removed the choice. And when you remove the choice from someone like him, that his whole life has been controlled, his whole life has been planned out, then I feel like he ends up in a very vulnerable position. And that is so unfair for him because no one should remove you that right to come out. So yeah, I find Wilhelm a very interesting character, and obviously I love the relationship that he has with Simone. I love how they're just so lovely. I love them. Yeah. Then we have who do we have? August. Okay, he is a tricky one because I love August as a character. Like, I think he's a very well-written character, and they showed us a lot of development. But I'm not gonna lie, I hated him through most of season 1. But then I slowly started to understand that there was a reason why he acts the way he acts. There's a reason why he did the things that he did, and I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that they made us understand. Especially through season 2, we started to see glimpses of this lovely guy, especially through his love for Sara. And I think that's beautiful. I love that. And that put me in a very not awkward, but like, I just felt like really weird because I don't like this character, yet I'm starting to feel bad for him. And yeah, here it's conflicting, And I love when a show does that it shows you a character that you're not meant to like, but you start liking them, you start sympathizing with them, and it just makes it even more interesting. August is very ambition driven, and he will do anything to get what he wants. And also, he's part of the royal family. He's a distant cousin to Wilhelm, and I think he embodies what we picture as a royal teenager. He seems a bit stuck up, but the thing is, we also understand that his dad passed away. We don't know how his dad was. We don't know how he was growing up with him, but I'm guessing he was a big part uh, of his life, and maybe he looked up to him a lot, and maybe there were a lot of expectations there. But he does want to look a certain way. He lives by appearances. He lives by reputation, and when those things are threatened, that's when he starts acting not weird, but like he starts doing things that are not good. Then in season 2, we started seeing how he was a bit remorseful. He was considering turning himself in. He was very apologetic. I was a bit fearful for what he could do, just under so much pressure. The same with Wilhelm. I was just like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. But thankfully, nothing happened. And towards the end of season 2, we saw how August, he was offered to be the backup of Wilhelm, and that's when things went south. That's when like all of that niceness just went away, because again, it's this ambition that he has that drives him to do these crazy things, and now be offered to be the next prince, who might become the next king. That is very tempting for him, so he's gonna do anything, whatever it takes to be able to get that. And yeah, so I do find him really interesting. Then that leads us to the final character I'm going to talk about, which is Sara. Sara is a very, very complex character. I think the main reason for that is that she has autism. She's in the high functioning spectrum. Is it Asperger's? Am I saying it wrong? Maybe. And I think we haven't seen a lot of these people on screen. And it's nice that we are seeing someone like this, a character that's not usually shown on TV. And we see glimpses of this lack of social awareness. There's been situations where she doesn't understand sarcasm. She doesn't understand that she's not meant to be so upfront with things. Obviously, it's not about lying, but like also not putting people in weird situations. And I think she's put like Felice when they were at the dining table and they were discussing how she was having a conversation with the mom. The mom was asking about the horse, and then Sara says, "Oh yeah, I'm the one who's cleaning him. I'm looking after him. I'm the one who's riding him. Felice is not doing that." So yeah, that's when you're like, okay, that's where the lack of awareness comes from. But yeah, and then she's also, I think some people might think she's just childish, but at the end of the day, she's a teenager. She's finding out herself, and she was bullied in her previous school. She moved to this place. She started making friends. She started becoming more social. So of course she's not gonna want to let this go, and like we all go through that anyways, regardless of her being in the spectrum. But I think it makes it harder for her to differentiate, to understand like the social aspect, and she struggles because she's not in the same position as all of these other students are. She doesn't have the financial means, so when she goes home, she compares that. She's a bit mean to her mom, to her brother, and then when she goes to school, she can't help but compare and like want to be like these other girls. So I think I do get that. And, even though I think what he did by telling August was bad, I think it came from a good place. It came from love. And she's in love with August. And she's just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He said he was going to turn himself in. So she believed him. And she was just so naive about it. But I think that's just her character. So yeah, that's nice. So yeah, that's what makes her her. And like at the end of the season, of season 2, we saw how she's gonna go to the police and she's gonna turn August in. So that's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna play out in season 3. But yeah, so that's a little bit of my summary of the characters, what I think of them, how I see them. But yeah, season 1, I'm not sure what I'm going to think of, like what's going to happen in season 3, But like season one, we had Simone and Wilhelm falling in love, uh, Wilhelm coming to terms with his sexuality, him being outed, him then denying it, and having that dynamic at home. Obviously, being the son of the queen doesn't help. He's got an image to keep. Um, and then season two, we saw the impact that it had on his relationship with Simone. Simone didn't want that. And I think I get that, because when you come out, I think a lot of us, obviously, like when we know we're gay, the next step is to, like, we feel like we have to tell others. And it's such a big thing. I think it's a scary thing to do. So obviously I understand that Simone doesn't want to go back to hiding, to lying, to hiding who he is, who he's with. So it's fair that he doesn't want to do that. But obviously Wilhelm is the prince. He's got an image to keep. He's got like these expectations of him. So he's just going through a lot, and I feel so, honestly, I felt so scared for him. We saw a lot of scenes with this snowball, that it was the broken snowball, and I was just like, my mind went like to really dark places. But I'm glad the show didn't do that. Then yeah, towards the end of the season, we realized that August is gonna be the backup for Wilhelm. Wilhelm finds this out. When he finds this out, he sees a way out of being a prince. And the thing is, Simone wants to go to the police, so that would ruin that opportunity. And in the end, he just decides, you know what, I'm gonna take control of my life. And he says it to the whole world that he was indeed in the video, and like essentially he's gay and he's with Simone. So I love that for him. So for this season, I'm hoping that they end up being happy, but I'm sure there's going to be struggles. I'm not sure what's going to happen to August. I just hope that there's some sort of resolution where everybody ends up happy, but it might not be the case, but hopefully it is. Sara, I'm not sure if she's going to end up going to the police or not. Maybe someone stops her. But yeah, I have a feeling, my prediction is that August might end up being the king, not the king, the prince, might take over. Yeah, that's what I think. Maybe the crown, the royal family will cover it up. Then they will be like, you know what, we can't have Wilhelm. Wilhelm's a bit mad. He doesn't want it. So let's give him to August, but we have to cover all of this shit up. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't go that way. I feel like it's not going to go that way, but yeah, that's my guess. If you want to see my reaction to season 3, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, see you in those reactions. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.